going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burning Hammer Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Izzo, and alongside me, as always, is the other host, Dillon O'Brien. Dillon, how are you doing?
Dillon, I'm Dillon. Mark, I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. Big week. We got Clash at the Castle this week, All Out this week. A lot to talk about. A lot of wrestling going on. So, I'm excited.
Yeah, and Dillon, you know the drill. Let me get a shirt check.
Absolutely, Mark. The shirt we're wearing today, in honor of All Out, not All Out, in honor of Clash this week, in the main event, we've got the Tribal Chief, the head of the table. Roman Reigns, acknowledge him. You know, you got the nice acknowledgments, I'll say, on the back. Not acknowledgments, accomplishments. But acknowledge me, Roman Reigns shirt. My first Roman Reigns shirt. Never thought I'd own one until he turned heel. And I was looking for a good one, and I felt like the acknowledge me was the perfect one for me to purchase. So I went with the acknowledge me Roman Reigns shirt. The Tribal Chief, the head of the table, in honor of Clash Week. Mark, can I get a shirt check? Let's see what you got going on.
Of course you can, and I will say that they just released Acknowledge Your Daddy t-shirts, which I really want one of those. But I have, on the opposite side of the professional wrestling world, I have an AEW shirt on. One of my favorite wrestlers that I have seen in recent memory and since the birth of AEW is the Orange Cassidy t-shirt. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's that one shot when he's got his thumbs up and then his ears busted open, but it's pretty sweet. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Great shirt.
Him wearing a shirt of himself is pretty funny to me. But
yeah,
there's our shirts. You know, like we said last week, we're going to have new shirts on every week. And before we jump into the real meat of this episode, stop what you're doing, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Burnt Hammer. We've been posting a lot on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts because we only do this one day a week. So to stay up to date with real-time reactions, everything like that, breaking news, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where we're really posting all of that stuff. And then on the pod is when we're talking about the real big things, the heavy hitters. So if you want to see how we feel about something that happened on SmackDown, Raw, Dynamite, or Rampage, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, those are all at The Burnt Hammer. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at @MarkIzzo_wave. And you can follow Dillon on Instagram and I believe TikTok at DillonO'Brien_wave. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening to it via audio streaming platform, make sure to leave a comment, rate, and follow or subscribe, whatever it is that your particular platform does. All right. Getting into the episode, we have a big week this week. We will be releasing 2 separate episodes going into predictions for WWE Clash at the Castle and AEW's All Out. Both of those are taking place Saturday and Sunday. For this episode, we're going to talk about Clash at the Castle, and then we will be releasing the AEW All Out predictions later in the week, so stay tuned for that. Dillon, how excited are you for WWE Clash at the Castle?
I actually can't remember the last time I've been this excited for a pay-per-view. I can't remember the last time that I was free without any plans on pretty much that day besides just work, to go to work, come home, throw on probably my Roman Reigns Acknowledge Me t-shirt, and watch Clash at the Castle. Probably going to end up watching it with you, Mark, so it's going to be exciting. I'm really excited for this pay-per-view, and you know, even though SummerSlam was technically the first pay-per-view under the Triple H era, this is the first pay-per-view that Triple H was in pretty much in, you could say, entire creative control for the lead-up to this pay-per-view. He made all the decisions on the matches for the pay-per-view, and where the storylines are going, and I'm really, really excited, and I think it's going to be in line to probably top SummerSlam and be one of the best pay-per-views that we've seen in a really long time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I am extremely excited, and like you said, the first pay-per-view that he was under creative control was SummerSlam, but he didn't really have any previous building time to build to the shows. He was sort of dealing with the deck that he was handled, but for Clash at the Castle, he got to pretty much build all of the matches that he wanted to. So we're going to dive into every match on the card, and we're going to give you our predictions, and then we're going to see what happens, what we predict right and what we predict wrong in the coming week. So first up, the most recent match that got added to the card is Edge and Rey Mysterio taking on Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. Now, Rey was looking for a member or another person to help him take down the Judgment Day. He decided to not have his son, Dominic Mysterio, in his corner. This time he wanted Edge. This match was added on Monday Night Raw. And again, we are recording this on Tuesday, so that is prior to the SmackDown shows. So I'm sure they're going to add a match or two in the coming days. So stay up to date with our social media to hear our predictions on those. But Dillon, who do you think is going to come out on top with this match?
So I want to say that it's going to be the Judgment Day comes out on top with a Rey Mysterio heel turn to join the Judgment Day. What I think is more likely is Judgment Day comes out on top with a Dominic Mysterio heel turn, and Dominic joins the Judgment Day.
Yeah, so
but I think the Judgment Day wins, and I'm going to say they win through shenanigans of Dominic turning heel and joining the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I am going to completely agree with you on that because, like I said before, I thought it was going to be way cooler if Rey Mysterio turns on Dominic, but after the little segment last night, I think that Dominic's definitely going to be the one to turn on Rey Mysterio. I'm hoping he doesn't join the Judgment Day because I love the Judgment Day and I hate Dominic Mysterio, but it will be interesting to see
I think that's
how
what
it
he
all
needs,
plays
though.
out. It could help him.
I think it could totally help him. It's just not the Judgment Day. As much as the fan in me would love a Rey Mysterio heel turn right now at the end of his career, he doesn't need Dominic needs it way more than him. And then it could eventually build to possibly Dominic versus Rey at WrestleMania. And I'm relatively confident to say that Rey would not allow that to be a bad match. But I really think Dominic needs the heel turn a lot more than Rey does. And I think putting him in the Judgment Day, who knows what could happen, but he needs the heel turn. And if you put him in a feud with Rey, he's going to get fucking booed anyway. Dominic's getting booed, so you can't make him the babyface.
Yeah, he's definitely already
and Triple H knows that.
Yeah, he's definitely has a lot of heat on him already because people do think he lacks in-ring skills and in-ring experience. And I think the Judgment Day is going to come out on top, and I think Dominic is going to turn on Rey ultimately, especially after that promo. So I think Finn Balor is going to get a pretty good win in what I don't know if it's technically his home crowd, but it's more of his home crowd overseas because he spent a lot of time in the UK. So it'll be nice to see him get his moment on one of the biggest stages that they'll have this year, especially since he wasn't on the WrestleMania card, because it's looking like they're going to have just about as many people at Clash at the Castle as they did as this past year's WrestleMania. So looking forward to it, and I'm pretty excited for this match. But one thing I wanted to get your opinion on is I like the idea of Edge coming out and saying, this was a few weeks ago, but he came out and he said that he was going to kill the Judgment Day, which sounds great on paper, I love it, but what does that mean? How is he going to kill the Judgment Day? I know it ultimately means to the Judgment Day not existing anymore, but how is he going to do that? Because they're going to have something in line for like the Judgment Day to just not be a team anymore, you know?
I mean, I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he's going to kill the Judgment Day. I think the Judgment Day is cool.
Unless he kills
I don't
all
think
three of
he's
them,
going to.
literally.
Yeah, yeah, I guess he could do that, which would be interesting. And we are TV-14 again, so it's not completely out of the picture for murder.
Dude, remember on,
we have.
Wait, remember when they did the cinematic Money in the Bank match and Baron Corbin threw, I think it was Rey Mysterio and someone else like off of the top of the building, and they were acting like he just.
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
Which was insane.
Yeah, no. I saw a clip today again of we've had necrophilia, we've had definitely tons of murder through WWE in the past, so definitely wouldn't be out of the cards for Edge to just go full on and just full on maniac and slay the Judgment Day, kill them all to death, even with a sword or possibly his hands or a mallet would be my guess of his choice of weapon. But if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna go with that. He's just not going to literally or metaphorically kill the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Judgment Day, I feel like they're really finding their stride now. And I can't remember who tweeted it, but I saw someone tweet out saying that they feel like Rhea Ripley is the leader of the Judgment Day. And I know I said that last week, and I believe it more to be true now than ever, that I do really believe that Rhea Ripley is the leader of the Judgment Day, and hopefully she will get treated as such moving forward. And don't get me wrong, I love Finn Balor and I love Damian Priest, but Finn Balor, it's just a feeling. He just doesn't feel like the leader of this group. Rhea Ripley really feels like the leader, so hopefully she'll get presented as such in the coming weeks. The next match I want to talk about is the Trios match, which is Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Bianca Belair taking on Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky in a 3-on-3 women's trios match. I can't remember the last time.
This would be referred to as a 6-woman tag team match.
6-woman tag team match, yes. I can't remember the last time that they had a 6-woman tag team match on a pay-per-view, so it's nice to see that. But before we get into this match, I want to get your thoughts on WWE not putting the tag titles on Dakota Kai and Io Sky.
It's an interesting move. I figured we'd get into it. It's an even more interesting move being that Raquel and Aaliyah are not on the card for Clash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but I also saw that. Go ahead.
The only explanation in my head, because I was shocked. I really was. The only explanation in my head is that they just have bigger plans. No, I don't want to say bigger than the women's tag team titles, but other plans. For they're going to be called Damage Control, we think.
Yeah, and I will say last night they did reference the word control a lot in their segment, so I think that's definitely going to be their name going whenever they get the.
Okay, so I'm just going to say Damage Control. I like the name as well. So Bayley, Io, and Dakota, they must just have. I feel like maybe they just have other plans. I don't know, other plans for them.
That's what I think.
I feel like it was pretty set up for them to win, and I feel like they would have won. You know what I mean? Like, I think Yeah, I think if there wasn't another, I mean, maybe Sasha and Naomi come back at Clash.
Well, that's what I was thinking because last night, I
I
thought
really
I
expected
saw
him to
it.
come up last night.
I thought that because when I was watching the match, after the match, I thought I could read Dakota Kai's lips, and then today I saw more people tweet about it. But Dakota Kai got pinned, and she was not the legal woman in the match. So I think that's definitely a route that they could go.
Oh yeah,
Just bringing that up, but that's something that I was thinking about before. Was when they announced the 6-woman tag match, I was then a bit hesitant to think that they were going to win because if they were tag champs and then they just get thrown into this match, it sort of does feel like how it was before where their women's tag titles are just a prop. So I think with them putting it on Raquel and Aaliyah and it not just being a prop used in a different feud, I think that's good. And I am interested to see where they sort of take it from here. Hopefully they can bring some
it was nice
back.
to see them. It was nice to see them coordinate their ring gear and stuff last night too.
And dude, it was the main event.
Oh yeah, I mean that was the biggest. I mean, yeah, huge.
Yeah, and because that's
huge.
On I posted
as it should
be. Yeah, and I posted a TikTok going over it, and I said it should be the main event. I didn't think it was going to happen, but I thought it should have been the main event. So it was nice to see that it actually was, and I think that in itself is a huge statement of how Triple H and WWE now view the women's tag titles. So, going back to this, the 6-woman tag match. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Because I think this one's pretty interesting.
So, I mean, it's got to be Bayley. It's got to be Bayley, Io, and Dakota after they didn't win the titles. Or if they need to win, I'm going to predict they win and a Sasha and Naomi return.
Interesting.
I'm predicting both. I think both things are going to happen.
I don't think that they're going to return at Clash of the Castle because I just feel like they're going to try to keep their return super secret, and then I think having them travel all the way to Wales is going to be hard to keep it a secret that they're returning. So I don't think that they would do it then.
True.
But I do agree. I think Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky absolutely need to come out with the win.
Yeah, they need to win.
Since they just lost the tag titles.
Yeah.
Well, and it's this is the thing. You present these 3 women who are all individually really good wrestlers, but as a team, we haven't seen that they can function together. We saw that Dakota Kai and Io Sky, they showed some promise, but they couldn't get the job done in the end. And so I think if they're going to build Bayley, Kai, and Sky up as a serious faction, their first match together, they absolutely need to win. And I think they need to do so in a somewhat dominant fashion. I don't want to see a little roll-up pin or some outside interference. I just want to see them win cleanly because they are a team in the end. You know, Bliss, Asuka, and Belair, they're not a team. They're just 3 individual wrestlers. And I know Bayley, Kai, and Sky, they're a newly formed team. They haven't really wrestled much, but they feel like more of a team. You know, they've been running around together in the past few weeks, so they have more chemistry together. So they absolutely they have to win at Clash of the Castle.
they need to win. And I think that's one of the more surefire things on the card. I think they're going to win.
Yeah. All right, so next up, the match that it's tough to say which match I'm really excited for because there's a couple that are in the same ballpark for level of excitement. But next up, we have Seth Rollins taking on the newly and renamed Matt Riddle. He is now going by Matt Riddle, which is awesome.
Yeah, once again, Matt Riddle is Matt Riddle. Triple H giving the guy his first name back. What a guy for allowing him to be called by his name. seriously, thank God. Hopefully we see this trend continue with
and
the drop of the one names.
We saw
because,
it with,
especially a guy like Matt Riddle.
Yeah, and there were reports that Theory is now going by Austin Theory at some recent WWE live events. When he got announced, they were announcing him as Austin Theory. So hopefully WWE and Triple H will just be giving back wrestlers their first names, because it's pretty stupid just to have them called by one name and they're essentially just like their last name. So did you see?
It's essentially, they just think of like a cool sounding word, and they're just like, yeah, we'll call that guy Theory, and we'll call that guy Ali, and we'll call that guy, you know, I don't know, it's stupid.
Yeah. Did you see their little interview segment that they had between
Who?
Riddle and Rollins?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Dude, that
it was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, they got heated. They were dropping some F-bombs.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins. Matt Riddle referred to Becky as the man in the relationship, making a nice little reference to Becky's nickname as the man, but also trying to make a nice little diss towards Seth Rollins. And then Seth Rollins goes right back after, I'd say, not too crazy of a joke from Riddle. And Seth Rollins just immediately goes, "You want to talk about my family? Let's talk about your family. Your wife left you and took your kids and they don't want to see you." And then I was just like, oh, fuck. Dude, that was like, yeah, I saw that clip and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, he said that and I was just like, holy fuck. And
yeah.
then,
dude, he even dropped, he was like...
Yeah, no F-bombs, dude. Like...
Yeah, Riddle dropped some F-bombs and then obviously they bleeped it out. But, dude, even Seth was like, they left your bitch ass. They don't want to be around you. And
yeah,
they
don't want to be around your bitch ass.
I was like, God damn.
Yeah, dude. What did Riddle say? Riddle said, I'm not gonna beat you up. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, before the show too, they there was a video going around that they like had a brawl in the parking lot, which was super intriguing because like I was watching it and they did have WWE referees out there, so I was like, all right, well obviously it was like planned, but then I didn't see any cameras, so then I was like, is this actually planned? But then they did show the clip, so like it was a part of it. But even that itself was like super cool. I think they've been doing this feud insanely well.
Oh yeah, and it almost makes you what do you know? Like it was like SummerSlam. Seth Rollins was not on the card, and it's like, what do you know? I guess it was kind of worth it because the way this feud is built. I'm way more excited for this match than I would have been at SummerSlam, and I would have been really excited for this match. But now I think I'm the most excited. Like, as far as, like, storyline-wise, obviously, like, I'm just super intrigued to see what happens with the main event and shit like that. But, like, as far as in-ring, like, competition, this is the match I'm most excited for by far.
Yeah. So, this one, I was...
Shout out to Triple H, man. Letting Matt Riddle have his name back and letting him drop some F-bombs. Oh, a great quote from Riddle. One of my favorite quotes from his thing was... Now I feel weird calling him Riddle, but it really... You know what I mean? But it's his last name, so it's like...
Yeah.
But anyway, a good quote from Matt Riddle was... What did he say? He said something like... I'm gonna smash your face in. I think was the quote that he said to Seth Rollins. But he said it like with the rage and anger was believable to the point where it's just like, oh, that's funny because that's what like a 5-year-old would say to somebody if they were about to get in a fight with them. But Matt Riddle, a grown man, said it
I think that it was important to see this side of Riddle because the way they've been presenting him is almost as like
It's
a child who like doesn't really have.
yeah.
He's just always like laid back and cool, but like this really brought out the fire in him, which I feel like this is really digging back to like his character in NXT, which I think is awesome. And like you said, I'm more excited for this match now than when I was at SummerSlam. Like at SummerSlam, it was just felt like it was on paper, it was really good. It didn't have much build to it, but you just knew these were two super talented wrestlers, and you wanted to see them go at it. But in the weeks since, man, it has been insane. This by far, this match has the best build on the card. So I am super excited for this. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I think Rollins needs to. But I don't think this feud's over by any means. That's more the reason why I think Rollins needs to. I don't think this feud's over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say Rollins.
I agree. I think Rollins needs a win because it was one of the first episodes I think that we did together that Rollins had like an insane amount of losses in the year thus far. And I think he does need the win, but I think that Riddle's gonna come out on top. I think we're gonna get a seriously improved and more aggressive Riddle. He's gonna show us a side that we really haven't seen very much of thus far in WWE, and I think that Riddle is ultimately going to come out on top. So there you have it, our first disagreement. Partially.
All right. Well, needed to be one for somebody to come out on top, right? So.
Yeah, and I feel like even before when we did this with Let's Talk Balls, I feel like for like 98% of the matches we would agree. So.
I feel like when it comes to wrestling predictions, though, it's that's how it is. You know what I mean? It's like for every one you get wrong, you get 5 right. When you're like as big a fan as we are, but it makes it worth it for that one you get wrong because it makes it that much more shocking.
Yeah, and I will say that I feel like now more than before, it's becoming harder to predict who's going to win.
Oh, the predictions have definitely gotten harder. I'm not saying Rollins confidently by it. If Riddle wins, I won't be surprised at all.
Yeah,
I really can't. Like, I just think it's really. I'm just going with the gut, really. My gut just tells me Rollins.
All right. I'm taking Riddle. Dillon's taking Seth Rollins. And next up, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which is Shayna Baszler taking on the champion, Liv Morgan. There was just one spot, I think it was on last week's episode of SmackDown, and Baszler came out. I don't remember exactly what happened, but she just ended up like kicking the crap out of Liv Morgan. And then after the match, she like did the thing where she like puts their palm on the ground and then sticks their arm up like this and then just like stomps on their elbow.
Yeah.
And then she set it up and she was like lifting her knee up, and then like Liv Morgan just like turned to look at her. Instead of like stomping on Morgan's elbow, she just like kicked the shit out of her face.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious for some reason. I'm pretty excited for this match. I think Shayna Baszler, I think she gets a lot of hate, and I feel like she's been somewhat underutilized in WWE since she got caught up. Another really good NXT wrestler that I think Triple H is going to bring back some prestige to her. And I think we're going to be in for a really good match. I think it's going to go similar to how the Ronda Rousey match went, with Shayna Baszler really just like dominating Liv the whole time, and then Liv just barely squeaking out with a victory, because I think once we get that dominant victory from Liv Morgan, I feel like it has to be against Ronda Rousey. But I'm going to take Liv Morgan. It's not, I don't think anyone thinks Shayna Baszler is going to win the SmackDown title at Clash at the Castle. What do you think?
I'm going to disagree with you here. I think she's going to win the SmackDown Women's Championship at Clash of the Castle.
You seriously think Shayna Baszler is going to win the title?
I think there's a... Dude. Alright, you're making me, like, second-guess myself, but that was going to be my prediction.
Hey, man, go with it. If that's your prediction, go with it.
That's my prediction, is Shayna Baszler. Alright, and I'll tell you why. So, listen, and it's no hate on Liv Morgan. The Liv Morgan experiment is not working. Okay? They either need, and it's no hate to her, she's been put in a pretty shitty situation. They need to either give her a clean, good victory, or they just need to take the title off her. And I think, as much as I hate to say it, I just think taking the title off her is more likely than her getting a clean, like a good clean victory over Shayna Baszler. I think if she gets another squeaked out victory, she's going to get booed out of the fucking building, which is not what you want for one of your top babyface women on the roster, especially your women's champion, who is supposed to be a babyface. So I guess, and it's also kind of long-term thinking, because I think there's a decent chance that we might be in line for Shayna versus Ronda sometime soon, which is something that's been needing to happen. It's long overdue. So I think we could be in line for that. I would say a Mania, but I kind of think that they're going to do Ronda versus Becky at Mania. So I think it's going to be, I'm going to go with Shayna for the reasons that I said. And then I think we might be in line for a relatively dominant run with Shayna Baszler as champion, and then possibly go into a feud with Ronda Rousey. We'll see. That's my prediction. Could be completely wrong.
I will say this. I do agree with the fact that I think they have been booking Liv Morgan as the champion really poorly. I think her squeaking out with a victory against Ronda at the last pay-per-view was definitely the wrong call. I think it made her look really weak, and I know we discussed it.
Well, it made her look really weak because she tapped out.
Yeah.
She lost the match. That was the thing, is that she should have lost.
Yeah. But I don't think they're going to take the title off her just yet. I do think
listen, I'm not going to be mad if she stays champion by any means, because I think she... like I said, I don't think it's necessarily her fault the way that this title run is gone. I just think they either need to, like I said, give her a clean win or take the title off her. And I don't know if she's going to be able to get a clean win.
Yeah. I mean, I think she absolutely needs a clean win, but I think she's still going to win. I don't think it's going to be clean because I'm pretty sure she still has that like brace on her arm from what Ronda did to her. So I just think that Shayna's probably going to target that, and then Liv is probably just going to give her a roll up finish, and I think that Liv's gonna come out on top. But I do agree, she absolutely needs to have a clean victory and really show everyone that she is championship material. And I do agree with you that if she does barely squeak out and gets like a little roll-up pin or whatever, that they probably are going to boo her out of the stadium, because we saw on that episode of SmackDown, they booed the hell out of her in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very easy for fans to turn on wrestlers. And I think that boo is less directed at Liv Morgan and like more directed at the outcome and like towards WWE. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle this match. I think there's a decent chance that Ronda Rousey is going to show up at the pay-per-view. So
yeah, I think so too.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a triple threat from this match with Baszler, Ronda, and Liv Morgan. So yeah, I think that could be a decent direction to go. So we'll have to see. Dillon's taking Shayna Baszler. I'm taking Liv Morgan, and the next match is another match that I'm super excited for. I'm really happy that they decided to go with this match. It is the Intercontinental Championship match, which is Sheamus taking on the champion Gunther. This match is going to be a hard-hitting slugfest, and I absolutely cannot wait for it.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, this needs to be... It either needs to kick off the night or be the second to last match. And I think Rollins and Riddle should probably kick off the night. Just because of like how it's like you can't keep them away from each other sort of thing right now.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
I think they're going to
anyway,
do it.
that has nothing to do with my prediction, but I just think it's going to be awesome. I think this match is going to be like the crowd favorite match of the night, probably.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, dude, it's going to be a loud match. We are going to hear lots of skin hitting skin.
Dude.
Just the way we like it. Tons of pale, pasty boys in that ring.
Oh my God!
And they're going to be smacking the shit out of each other. That's honestly what that match is going to be. Bunch of big, pale, pasty boys just smacking each other.
Dude, it's going to be something. And like, cuz I feel like Sheamus, since he is one of the paler people I've seen in my life, I think the knife edge chops.
He's like clear. Dude, it's insane. No hate.
Yeah, no, we're just.
I'm a pretty pale fella myself. Sheamus is pale as fuck, dude. But yeah, those chops are gonna take a toll on his body.
Yeah. And especially since,
dude, he's gonna be like purple. Honestly,
it's gonna be intense, dude, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Like, yeah, he's gonna. Because I just remember, like, because Sheamus can get pretty red during a regular match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he's taking some hard hits due to his pale skin. So getting those chops from Gunther is going to be pretty intense. I'm excited. And
I think it's going to be awesome because Gunther did a lot of his wrestling in the United Kingdom, and he was, I don't know the exact day count, but he was NXT UK champion for like over 2 years, which is like insane to think about. So I think they're both going to have the crowd behind them, and I think this match is definitely must see. And if you're going to watch, if you're not trying to watch the whole pay-per-view or you can only watch a few matches, definitely make sure that this is one of the matches that you make sure that you are able to watch. Because if you want to see two dudes just absolutely beat the piss out of each other, then watch this match. One other thing that I wanted to bring up really quick was
in their home continent.
Yeah, it was that Butch, formerly known as Pete Dunne, he was seen at, I think it was a live event. He was seen in his old wrestling gear, which is sick. So hopefully we'll just get back to Pete Dunne.
Yeah, dude, he's gonna go back to Pete Dunne soon.
Yeah.
Well, I was also gonna say this is just random off topic. Did you see, like, there was a lot of signs pointing toward NXT UK was going to be shut down and all this stuff, and then we found out NXT UK is being shut down, but it's for good reason. It is to expand for NXT Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
But
and,
that's much better than just shutting it down.
Yeah, and I think...
Brought that up because of Walter being the longest reigning champion there.
Yeah, and I think they released a decent amount of wrestlers, and I think that it's a good thing because I think when are they going to launch it? 2020? Did they say 2024 or 2023? Do you know?
I think 2023. 2023. I don't think it's that long away.
So they released a good amount of wrestlers, which I think is a good thing because A, you're not just having them sit on the shelf for months upon months upon months. Let them go out and do what they love to do, which is wrestle. And B, I'm sure they'll bring them back once they really start this thing up. And
A lot of them, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of people who will be brought back.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely...
They're going to need roster members.
Yeah. So I think them getting released isn't the end of the line, and it's not the end of their NXT careers.
No, not by any means.
Dude, and they've got some really good wrestlers. I don't know, if you haven't watched any like NXT UK matches, you should definitely go check it out because they put on some really, really good shows over there in NXT UK.
Yeah, especially
so
if you're into that like hard-hitting...
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're into like kind of like a slugfest.
Yeah.
Lots of slobber knockers.
A lot of chest slapping, meat on meat action.
Yeah, there you go. I think Gunther is going to win this match, by the way.
I think I agree. I think Gunther is going to win. I just think he's on another level right now. Although I will say I think it's pretty ridiculous that Sheamus has never held the Intercontinental title yet.
Yeah, I know. That is pretty crazy. Neither is John Cena.
Yeah, so I do think
but
Gunther's
John
gonna
Cena
win.
is also 16-time world champion. So
yeah, I think Gunther winning is the right call. I think he's going to be Intercontinental champion for a very long time. Just like,
I think so too.
Yeah, just like the other the United States title. I think they need to have really long, good runs and just really some.
I don't think either
matches.
of them. I don't think either of them are going to lose those titles until WrestleMania, if they do. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm super excited for this match. We're both taking Gunther to retain his title. Like we said, it's going to be an absolute slugfest. If you like to see some meat-on-meat, chest-slapping wrestling, then definitely make sure to check this match out. And in the main event spot, we have the highly anticipated undisputed WWE Universal Championship match, which is Drew McIntyre taking on your champion, the Tribal Chief, head of the bloodline, head of the table, Roman Reigns. This match I am also super excited for. I'm not quite sure how the whole thing is going to play out yet. I know we've talked about it in recent weeks, but it's definitely getting harder to pin down exactly what's going to happen. And before we dive into it, there's this really funny quote from Drew McIntyre that I just got to pull up really quick about Karrion Kross. He said, this was Drew talking about Karrion Kross. He said, "I'll kick his face off and I'll break his little sand glass. I don't get it. It's an hourglass. It doesn't go tick-tock," which I thought was really funny.
That is true. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
He's right. Holy fuck.
I know. That's what I said.
Karrion Kross might suck. That guy might be ass.
And if you don't know, Karrion Kross's thing is like he just like brings an hourglass everywhere, and then they just constantly say like tick-tock, the time is up. Their thing is like time or whatever. But he's not wrong. I just thought that was really funny.
I didn't even think about that.
And dude, Drew McIntyre has been on another level. I feel like since
Triple
H took over.
Mm-hmm.
Cause
I was gonna.
Especially like what he said about last week on Raw with the whole wrestlers in a wrestling ring. Let's just freaking wrestle. And then I feel like not enough people talked about when he called Roman Reigns the tribal queef, which I thought was like insanely funny. I feel like no one really talked about it besides us. But he's been on another level since Triple H took over, and I'm really excited to watch him compete in this match. How do you think this is gonna all unfold?
All right, so this is officially my exact prediction. Officially, my exact prediction for this match. I've thought about it a lot. My exact prediction is Austin Theory cashes in his Money in the Bank contract during this match. Drew McIntyre pins Austin Theory and becomes WWE champion. He thinks he is both champion. He's holding both titles or whatever. Triple H comes out. He says you can't or maybe not Triple H, but somebody. Says you can't cash in the contract for both titles. Like, we're going to have to restart the match between you and Roman Reigns, and it's just for the Universal title. Or, like, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, the match is still continuing. Or maybe he cashes in for just one title. Or maybe it's announced, like, he tries to cash in for both titles, and then they go, you can only cash in for one. So he chooses the WWE, immediately gets pinned by Drew. Drew's celebrating, immediately eats a spear from Roman. Roman leaves with the Universal. My official prediction is, by way of Austin Theory cash-in, Drew McIntyre leaves with the WWE title, and Roman Reigns leaves with the Universal title. If I'm gonna say, if that doesn't happen, then you can consider my prediction wrong. If they don't split the titles. If one title doesn't go to Drew and one title doesn't go to Roman, then my prediction will be wrong. Even though I will say this, I've just become so dedicated to that, to that idea that I just need to go with it at this point. But part of the reason was because I thought there was no way they take both belts off Roman. But I think there's a chance they do. I think there's a chance Drew beats him. I think there's a chance Drew beats him, like, clean. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's a chance.
Yeah, so, not to be, like, that guy, but I also, that's also how I think it's going to go down. I think, like you said, I think there is a small chance that Drew McIntyre walks out with both titles. I think Drew McIntyre is gonna get his WrestleMania moment at Clash of the Castle. I think there is a 99% chance that Drew McIntyre walks out with at least one title, and I think, because we talked about it before, but I do think Theory is going to try to cash in on both titles. But he can only pick one. Since he wants to be the youngest WWE champion ever, he's going to pick that belt, and it's going to turn to a triple threat match. And then I think Drew McIntyre is going to end up beating Roman and Theory to become the WWE champion. I don't think they're going to do it like how you said it last week, where he thinks he won both, but he just won the WWE title. I think
the more I think about that, I don't think they're going to do that.
I think they're going to do it like they're going to let him go 20, 25 minutes. They're both probably going to be laying on the ground, and then out comes Theory. He tries to cash in for both titles. Adam Pearce comes out, and he says, "Hold up, Theory, hold up. You can't, as the contract states, the Money in the Bank contract is for one title." And then he has to decide, and then he's going to do it for the WWE title because he wants to be the youngest WWE champion. Something else that I actually just thought of was maybe Johnny Gargano gets involved slightly because Theory's becoming more of like a dick to him, especially last night. I think there's a small chance that Gargano could come out and maybe help cost him the match, but I don't think that is very likely. I think we are getting set up for a feud between Theory and Johnny Gargano, but it's a small chance. I think it's unlikely, but I think there is a small chance that Gargano could get involved with this match. But like I said,
Do you think Karrion Kross gets involved in this match?
I think yes. I think so. I don't know in what fashion they're going to
I
have
don't know
him
in what
get
fashion,
involved.
but I think the ending of this match is going to be insane. Like I think
I-
it's going to have Cross. I think it's going to have Cross and Theory and an attempted / failed cash in, and I think Drew McIntyre leaves with the WWE Championship. I think it ends with Drew McIntyre at the top of the stage and like Roman Reigns holding his one Universal title in the ring and Drew McIntyre holding the WWE title or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's
Don't know
tough.
how we get there, but I think that's how we get there.
I
I
think-
don't know how we get there, but I think that's where we get.
I agree. I think that the final like 5 minutes of the show are going to be absolutely nuts. I think the final picture is going to be as follows. The final shot of the show. Drew McIntyre standing at the top of the turnbuckle, hoisting the WWE Championship. Crowd's going nuts. Theory's on one side, outside of the ring, laying down in disbelief. Roman Reigns is just chilling. Actually, I think after the match,
You think Roman is pissed that yeah, Roman's pissed.
yeah, and I think Cross is going to challenge. I guess he would have to challenge Drew for the WWE title next because you wouldn't have Roman go up against Cross
Yeah.
since they're both heels. I don't know. It's tough.
We'll see.
I do think it's gonna be like Roman's like laying on the ground, like really holding his title, and that he like narrowly
Yeah.
escaped, but he still is a world champion. So there you have it.
Yeah.
There are me and Dillon's predictions. Really quick, did you see that they are advertising Karrion Kross's match on SmackDown as his debut match for WWE?
No, I didn't, but that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. If you don't know, he has wrestled in WWE before. He just lost to Jeff Hardy in like 7 minutes, and he had the most insane ring entrance attire that I've ever seen in my entire life. So Triple H is really hitting the undo button with a
Yeah.
spin stick.
Triple H went Control Z. This is one that people will not be mad about them ignoring. I'll say that.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how everything unfolds. That is me and Dillon's entire predictions for WWE Clash at the Castle. Like I said, it is highly likely that they are going to add matches in the coming days. So make sure to follow us on all of our social media, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Burnt Hammer. Whatever matches get added, we're going to add our predictions on there. Make sure to follow us. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening via audio streaming service, make sure to like it. Make sure to rate. Make sure to comment. Make sure to follow and subscribe, whatever it is that platform does. And we will be releasing a new episode. You're going to get 2 episodes this week. We will be giving you our all-out predictions, which will be coming in a couple days after this gets released. So stay up to date for when we release that. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All of those are at @Markizo_wave. You can follow Dillon on Instagram and TikTok at DillonO'Brien_wave. If you made it this far, thank you. We really appreciate it. We have a lot of big things to come. I'm Mark Izzo, he's Dillon O'Brien, and this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer Podcast. Thanks for listening.